Welcome to another day of Skyline activities. So I swear I always pick the hottest days to work on this thing, but we're gonna get these headlights cleaned up. So let's get you a close-up of their current condition, and by the end of it, they should be looking brand new. And here we go. So these things are really yellow. There's some cracking and stuff inside of the lenses that we're not gonna really be able to address, but we're definitely gonna enhance this curb appeal. All right, so first thing, we're just gonna give this a wipe down. I just got some soapy water. I'm not hitting the whole car, I'm just gonna hit this front again, just so that tape has a better place to adhere to. See my brother in the back, he's actually working on something for his Honda Fit, and hopefully we can post some of that content up for you as well. But what he's doing is a full Mugen front for his Honda Fit. The thing's looking pretty nice. So again, nothing fancy here. I'm just wiping off the scum. Now we're gonna tape out these corners. So everything around the headlight is just gonna get taped out with some painter's tape. And then we're gonna come at it with some wet sandpaper. Ready for the next step. We're gonna start off with some wet sandpaper. So I'm not using anything super abrasive. I'm gonna start off at 2000 and I'm gonna work my way up in 500 increments. So first thing we're gonna do on this, get our paper ready, get it nice and wet. I keep this hose with me, so I keep saturating and cleaning this paper and then doing the same thing with the headlight here. But I'll give it a first horizontal pass, and then I'm gonna cross hatch it, make it nice and even in a vertical pass, and then we'll just start working our way up incrementally through higher grits. And what you go to is really up to you. Most people kind of stop at the 3000 mark. They might start a little more abrasive with maybe like 1000 or 1500. But I just put a little more elbow grease into it with the 2000, and it seems to cut and not make me have to work so hard to make sure it's not scoring. You may or may not be able to see this coming up in the camera, but you'll actually see the yellow coming off of these lenses as we work our way through it with this sandpaper. And now that I've got a good amount of that done horizontally, it's looking pretty even. I'm gonna start my vertical passes. So nice clean section of paper. Same process. Now you can see that's all pretty even as far as that crosshatch goes. We're just going to go up in our wet sandpaper and do that process all over again. So it's just going to be a much finer, so a higher grit. So just repeating it over and over until it's nice and smooth. And again, you can see in that camera with just the water on top of here and this being pretty leveled out and cleaned up. It's looking like a clear lens already. We're gonna give this a wipe down, and as clean as it looked when it was wet, now it's gonna look kind of hazy. But we're gonna lock in that real polished wet look once we hit this with the buffer. And then just a quick comparison before we even get this polished down. That's how we were. And that's how we're looking. Once this is polished, this is gonna shine a lot brighter, have a lot more clarity. But big difference in your curb appeal. Get them nice and dried off. Now we're gonna come back and we're gonna run the same detailing process like I did on the GT4 on the paint. So nothing different for me. I'll use a medium cut compound the same type of buffing pad that I use, that harder buffing pad for cutting, and we'll get our way up through a polish. So same process, just on the headlights now. So this swirl remover one is about the medium cut equivalent. They have a bunch of stuff that's built in kits where you go in stages, but that swirl remover is going to be our first step on buffing these things out. So I'm using an orbital for this. For that orbital, I'm running it just over 3,000 RPM. If you're using a rotary polisher, then it's going to be a lot less, so about half of that speed. But right now I'm just going to start to saturate this pad a little bit. So I put about 6 dots on there, seems to be the magic number for most. And I'm just going to move that polish around this light. This is a nice dry surface now. You don't want to use a wet surface on this. So I want this polish to heat up enough that it's doing its job. But I'm also going to leave a slight haze on there. I don't want to burn all of that polish out. So I'll still be able to see a light film of the polish on there as we go through it before I give it a wipe off. A little bit heavier pressure to start. I'm going to take a clean microfiber cloth to wipe this down, get that excess polish off. And you'll see even before we're running that final polish coat, how clean these things are looking now. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. But I'm gonna hit that other side first with that medium cut before I have to swap out my products. Then we'll come back and polish them, seal them, and then you'll be able to get a final look at how they come out. If you've never done this before and you feel kind of timid, the step right before this looked like this. So if you have this nice even haze, don't get scared, don't feel like you did too much. As long as you don't have any scoring and stuff like that, these things should all polish out just as clean as that other side. And we're gonna continue the process with a polishing finish. Now you can really see the difference. So I'm gonna do that other side, same way. And I'm gonna come back on this with some ceramic, and I'm just gonna seal that with ceramic. There we go. So the ceramic I use is an instant flash. So all kinds of different ceramics out there. Just do your homework on whatever you're looking for. But that's how we're looking now. Man, it is a night and day difference. So for anybody who's really looking just to up your curb appeal of your vehicle, headlights really do the trick. All right, until next time.